All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the elect out there, scattered wherever you may be. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, bless you and your household, and may you continue to endure. Shalom to you, Akim, on the highways and byways, week in and week out, who do these daily epistles as well, and who edify the sheep in truth and sincerity. Shalom to you. Also, shalom to you sincere sisters out there who learn in silence and who don't try to teach, but are obedient underneath the law. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh. May Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh shall also bless you and your household. All right, it is your brother Debakia coming to you again with another fresh live lesson, and I pray that you are edified, because that is what this is about: edification and exhortation. All right, one second. First of all, I just want to say this too. Please, Salakia, which means forgive me in Hebrew in the Paleo. Salakia on my absence. I had some health problems, okay, the last few weeks. But all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. I'm back on track. All right, we're back on track. And I'm here to do these lessons again, so I should at least, start flooding my channel again. Nonetheless, let's get into it. I don't have a title for today's lesson quite yet, but the Rakah Kodash did hop up on me and say, just go into the scriptures, man. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just flow in the spirit, right? All right, let's get it. We'll be in the book of Psalms, chapter 73. All right. And then we'll see where the spirit takes it from there. And this book of Psalm, chapter 73, was written by Asaph. All right. Start at verse 1. Actually, the subtitle of this chapter is A Psalm of Asaph, the prosperity of the wicked and their end. Okay. And we know, according to the scriptures, that the wicked is mainly talking about Esau, Edom. All right, you self-proclaimed white people. Okay, your end is approaching rather fast. And it also can refer to 2/3 of our people who don't want to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? All right, this Bible is a mystery. But like Elder Apostle Gabar always says, you got to know the history to know the mystery. All right? Psalm chapter 73 and verse 1. Truly, power. Okay? Because it says God, but whenever you see God in the Bible, it translates to power. That's just the title. Truly, power is good to Israel. He's not good to Edom. He's not good to you heathens. He's not good to you Hamites, to you Ammonites, all right, to you Moabites, to any of you ites, just the Israelites, and starting with the elect. Okay? That's who he's good to. How about you, Shai? Baba Kasha, Brakya, Brakta. That means bless me. Okay, Brakya means Brak means bless. Yah means me. Okay? Brak Atah means bless you. Barak Atham means bless you all. A group, in a sense. Truly, power is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. All right, and we do know that word heart in the Old Testament translates to mind, which is la'ab. Okay, so we have to have a clean mind in this thing. Not be indoctrinated with all this madness that is currently around us. All right? Right here it says, this is the third book of the Psalms referred to as the, quote, Leviticus book. Its subject is the sanctuary, as that of the first book was the blessed man, Hamashiach, and that of the second, Israel, his people. Okay, Israel is Yahweh's people, Yahweh Ba'ashem's people. Starting with you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are the Israelites, and if you're not repenting in these last days, you will be destroyed. You see these ICE riots, okay? These ICE protests going out. All right, they have camps for you niggas and for you so-called for you tribes. All right? Word around town is there's death flights. They're snatching you up, bringing you on these flights, flying you across waters with shackles on your feet and throwing you off of these planes. Man, this is just the beginning of sorrows. Okay? This is just the beginning of Jacob's trouble. And it's going to get way worse. That's why the prophets were set up, to warn you, to say before. Okay? Continuing on. His people. Israel as a worshiper in her future time of trouble is the subject of this book, rather than a Messiah and the remnant, which are that of the first two books. Most definitely, power was good to Israel. Thawadi Yahabashim Yashai for being good to Israel. Thawadi Yahabashim Yashai for bringing us in this truth and for keeping us in our right mind. Okay? And we pray, all right? Because you got a lot of Jakes who are stuck in that plantation Christianity. All right? White Jesus, Caesar Borgia is not the way. And I proudly say that. Yahabashim Yashai Shalak Rayam to anybody worshiping Caesar Borgia. All right? We worship Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, not Caesar Borgia. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 2. But as for me, and this is Asaph, my feet were almost gone. Okay? My steps had well nigh slipped. All right, it says right here, Asaph was the leader of the choir worship under David. So he held a very high spiritual position in Israel. So he was the leader of the choir. Okay, he was a singer, if you will. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 3. This is a beautiful verse. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Okay, yes, we get a little, yeah, it happens. We get envious when we see Esau Edom out here living in his riches, okay? Set up to win, all right? The ugliest, dustiest, most red cracker can go out there with shaggy hair, 5'4", and pull a Keisha, okay, who's light skinned. She has curly hair, all right, and bag her, as opposed to the Israelite man, all right, who's fit, okay, you know, who keeps the law, statutes, and commandments, and who's a righteous man. We can't do that. Esau Edom is in his heaven. That's why I always say, the white man's heaven is the black man's hell. Let me say that again. The white man's heaven is the Israelite man's hell. All right? Esau Edom is set up to win. That's why we don't believe in the hell doctrine. We don't even teach the hell doctrine. Mostly because hell is a condition. Okay? It can either be referred to as the grave, okay, or a condition. So let's explain that. What is the condition of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans right now on this earth as we speak? It's not a very high condition. Therefore, we're in hell. What's the condition of Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, and the heathen nations around us and amongst us? Okay? They're high up or higher up. If you need an example of that, go to your nearest liquor store. Right? You'll see Ishmael, so-called Arabs, all right, running that. All right, and now you got at 7-Eleven, you got so-called Ethiopians, okay, running that area. All right, selling you all that junk food, selling you all that crap. You barely see so-called Israelite leadership in America. Therefore, we are in hell, and the heathens around us are in heaven, if you can receive that. Verse 3 again. For I was envious at the foolish. Right? So we hate the foolish. Okay? And we pray that Yahweh Shai destroys 2/3. As well as you Edomites. And anyone else who's not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments who take us to be a joke. Judgment will catch up to you speedily. Might not happen today. Might not happen tomorrow. Might not even happen 2 weeks from now. But it will come. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. All right, Esau Edom is continuously prospering while us Israelites are suffering here at the bottom. All right, it says right here, Asaph, perplexed with the problem that the ungodly, Esau Edom, They're ungodly. All right, prosper. And the children of the kingdom suffer. The children of the kingdom, who's that? The Israelites, starting with the elect, the 144,000. Okay? Let me see again. Asaph perplexed with the problem that the ungodly prosper, and the children of the kingdom suffer, all right, learns the lesson that outside the sanctuary, the mind is distracted and the heart fermented, but that inside all is peace. Looking in confounds, looking out confuses, looking up comforts. All right, our comfort comes from the heaven in our hierarchy, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, not this world, not temporary riches. Okay? Continuing on. Asaph's problem was, quote, self. Preoccupation with, quote again, self always leads to spiritual distraction. Men have ever tried to improve self. Men, when endeavoring to improve self, self can only be conquered when it is hidden in Hamashiach. All right, that there is a precept. The book of John, chapter 14 and verse 20. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 4. 4. There are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Okay, Esau Edom is ruling right now with an iron fist over the nations, over you tribes. Okay, you can't speak out against the small hats. All right, if you speak out against the small hats, they'll put you on a list. All right, they'll what's the word I'm looking for? They'll defame your character and label you a villain, when essentially you Edomites, you small hat gutter rats are the villains for stealing our identity. Okay, think about how twisted and sick that is. All right, that's because you Edomites are set up to win. Once again, the Israelites' hell is the Edomites and the heathens' heaven. All right, right here it says, when one becomes enormed with self, then one's spiritual judgment becomes flawed. Asaph fell into the age-old trap. First of all, prosperity is not the purpose of redemption. Salvation is. Second, Asaph is wrong about the death of the wicked. It is anything but positive because you Edomites are going into slavery. Okay, like off top, you're gonna have chains around your neck. You're gonna wake up, and your women will be concubines. Thus saith the scriptures. Hey, we didn't make the rules. That's what's written in these scriptures. Off top. Book of Psalm, chapter 73 and verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right, when it's saying they, it's referring to Esau Edom, okay, the self-proclaimed white man. All right, you're not in trouble as other men. You can do what you want, okay. You can sell crack, okay. You can go around pillaging towns, all right, raping, murdering, okay, stealing people's identities, settlement areas, settlement farms, colonizing countries, all right, without even facing the consequences. But now it's catching up all to you, you damn Edomites. All right, the world has been exposed to who the devil is. If you need a clear example of who the physical demon on earth is, go look at let me see, how do we say his name? Benjamin, not a Jew. All right, Satan, not Netanyahu. Okay, he's out here just obviously committing mass genocide to a people in a country and a nation without even feeling the consequences. In fact, your beloved president, DJT, Donald J. Trump, supports this Edomite, and he has the full force of America behind him supporting the killing of all these people, okay? That's because they're not in trouble as other men yet, right? Yet, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, beginning with our elders and apostles on down of Great Millstone, you Edomites are being exposed and you're going down quickly, and the angels are getting you as well. All right, the chariots all around us, marking you devils, right? Look, you're getting away with it now, but that's not forever. Again, Psalm 73 and verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Beginning with the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verses 15 through 68. We have the plagues, we have the curses on us for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments as our Lord Yahweh Shai commanded us to do. All right? Simple as that. If you came across this, this video for the first time, go read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and start at verse 1. Go to 15. Those are the future blessings of the nation of Israel that will come here on earth. Every verse after that are the curses that currently apply to us if we do not keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, right here it says, the truth is, the system of this world is not of power. Right? This world, America, is not ran underneath righteous rulership. This is all wicked. GMO foods, out of order women, sodomites, women kissing each other in the mouth, men kissing each other in the mouth, all these damn sex stores. This place is Sodom and Gomorrah times 10. Right? And if you can't see that, that's because Yahweh Shai didn't give you eyes to see. It's simple. I promise you. Like Elder Apostle Tahar always says, don't be too deep, be one deep. All right? It is what it is. We here at GMS, we say the same things. We repeat ourselves a lot because don't the scriptures say, actually, doesn't Yahweh say, I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not? If he doesn't change, we're not going to change with how we come with our approach in these scriptures off top. Right here, the truth is, the system of this world is not of power. It's Edomite supremacy, but of Satan. All right, and what is that word? Satan means deceiver. All right, who deceived the whole world? Esau Edom, through his colonization, through his iconoclasm. And iconoclasm is going into the painting of the images of our ancestors, of the prophets and the elders. All right, and just the angels and in general. For example, go look at a book called Russian Icons on Google. Go look at this book. Put in images. You're gonna see so-called black rulership, black prophets, black apostles, black popes. All right, and we gotta drop that term black. And Salaki on saying that. All right, different shades of brown. I ain't black. I'm a different shade of brown. Period. All right, but of Satan. Consequently, a child of Yahweh is constantly plagued by the system. And who are the children of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai? You Israelites, right? Started with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the ones who are plagued by Edomite supremacy. But us being in his truth, we're not plagued as much. Not to say it doesn't exist to us, but not as much. That key word there is as much, right? Hold up. Salaki, put the headband on. Okay. Plagued by that system. But considering that, still, the life of the follower of Hamashiach, right, is by far the most rewarding life there is. Us being in this truth is the most rewarding we can get in this life. That's why we say, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for bringing us into this truth. All right, we could have been bugged out. We could have been stuck in that Muslim shit, and that Edomite supremacy and that plantation Christianity. All right, that bugged out Catholicism, worshiping Mary. All right, the Lord has these people so bugged out to the point where they think that they think that the mother of our Messiah, which, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus, was a virgin. When it clearly says, when we can prove that she had sensual sex with Joseph. You just bugged out. How the hell does a virgin have a baby? Oh, God came down and put a baby in her via his hand. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that shit is bugged out off top. Hold on. It says right there, right here again, but considering that, still, the life of the follower of Hamashiach, right, being in his truth, is by far the most rewarding life there is. If there were no eternity, living for power would still be by far The greatest choice. Tawadi Habashima Shai for this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. Where was that? Oh, there is. If okay. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 6. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. All right, Esau Edom is filled with complete pride. Okay? You can't tell him nothing. All right? He refuses to believe that we are the Israelites. We don't give a fuck if you Edomites acknowledge us being the Israelites. We know who we are. Right? Nonetheless, your pride is coming very low, Esau Edom. The world is finally recognizing who Satan's kids are. All right, who the spiritual demon Satan's kids are, which are you Edomites. All right, your country's in shambles. Okay, you're broke. You're $1 trillion in debt, but you're still prideful. You can't make this shit up, man. Hell no. Therefore, pride it compasses them about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. All right, just I believe maybe a few hours ago, Jerusalem, Benjamin, Satan, Netanyahu, not a Jew, just bombed the hell out of Al Jazeera, some journalists for no reason, like the IDF, man. Esau Edom has to commit violence. It's just in their nature. All right, that's why we always say. That's why I say, a good Edomite, right, is a dead Edomite. Off top, you Edomites are just violent, wicked, nasty, gross, out of order. You're good for nothing. And you're red, and you're not white. All right, the deeper you get into this truth, you start to see that skin complexion of them being red. There is no such thing as white. They're red. They're different shades of red. How we are different shades of brown, Esau Edom is different shades of red. All right, and you're going into slavery. All right, therefore pride compasses him about as a chain. Violence covers them as a garment. So you see how I got this garment on? This is how violence covers them. From neck on down. That's all they think about is violence. If you need proof of that, go study some of the origins of World War I, World War II, and we're currently in World War III. I did a lesson on my channel maybe 3-4 weeks ago. It says right here, Asaph is saying that the wicked constantly, Esau Edom, right, the wicked Edomites, constantly engage themselves in violence with few negative results. They are filled with pride, and instead of bringing destruction, it seems to reward them. All right, the spiritual demon, yeah, your daddy Satan is rewarding you. Cool, you got it for now. But the left-hand side is not going to continue to work for you devils. In fact, that left-hand energy is slowly but surely going out, because guess what? Satan, all right, the one who the world ignorantly knows is Satan. All right, he's a son of God, and he works for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. How about that? That's what they don't teach you in your church. All right. All right, Psalm chapter 73 and verse 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. They got everything, mansions. All right, starting with the Rothschilds, you Edomite bankers, you Rothschilds, you Oppenheimers, you Gettys, you Rockefellers. All right, these are the people behind the scenes. Folks nowadays will look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and say, "Oh man, I want to be rich like them." Look, dummy, don't you know that there's people behind the scenes who are 1 trillion times richer than them? And guess what their nationality translates to? Amalekite. They're Amalekites. They're small hat gutter rats, aka Edomites. All right? That word Rothschilds translates to red shield, because they know they were the Edomites and they changed their name. I believe it was there during the late 1800s. All right? So we got to be mindful about these things, right? Hey, where was I at again? Psalm 73 and verse 7 again. Their eyes stand out with fatness, just cocky as hell. They have more than a heart could wish, right? You just go look at the wealth gap, too, between so-called blacks and white people in America, right? Edomites won't admit it, but they're still eating off of slave money. That's blood money. You got Jakes out there talking about reparations, man. Fuck reparations. True reparations will come with bloodshed. And Esau Edom being in chains, with chains around his neck, in the field. Right? That's true reparations. Not this damn fiat currency. What good is fiat currency if the world is translating to the RFID micro chip and to a digital currency? What good is that? You Jakes you Jakes are small-minded, straight up. Right here it says, these statements show that Asaph has given this much thought due to his preoccupation with self. Right? The spiritual demon Satan has made great inroads into his soul. One of Satan's greatest weapons is to make the Christian, which essentially is the Israelite, think that by living for power, he is truly missing out. Okay? We're not missing out on anything, us and his truths, brothers and sisters out there, man. If anything, we're the ones who the world is trying to get like. All right, we have the highest knowledge on the world, and I say that humbly. He is truly missing out. However, we must always remember that the spiritual demon Satan is a liar and the father of lies, including you Edomites. You're liars, and your daddy, the spiritual demon Satan, is the father of lies as well. Right? Esau Edom can't tell the truth. It's just not in their nature. Right? Actually, the opposite is true. The book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse 8. Let's see if I can get this lesson to at least 30 minutes. I'm going to have to wrap it up. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. All right? They think, they make mockery of our wrongdoings, of our sufferings, okay, of us being in slavery, of our women going against us, okay, of us not being at a position of stability, okay, and they also don't, what else? They speak wickedly concerning oppression, okay, what, minimum wage, okay, what else? Putting GMOs in our food, chemtrails in our sky, okay, what else? Working from 9 to 5, 7 days a week for some people out there. I can go on and on, but oppression, okay, they speak wickedly concerning us and what we had to go through to get to this point, right? They don't think it's true. We don't, like I said earlier, we don't give a shit what you think, Esau Edom. You're the devil that the Bible speaks of. You're going into slavery, right? You've been exposed, you devils. Off top. And they speak loftily. They speak highly. All right, you just think you're higher than Jake. You're higher than Jake for now, but look, you're not higher than the elect. All right, the elect will be blessed with spiritual powers on this side. Coming soon. All right, right here. The speech of the wicked is lofty concerning how they will oppress people, and no harm seems to come to them. So, Yahweh Shema Shah has you devils in a trick bag, okay? You think that you're not going to get touched, but you devils will be touched, all right? You devils will be touched. Just wait on it. Psalm chapter 73 and verse 9. They set their mouth against the heavens, all right? The Israelite man. And their tongue walks through the earth, all right? They can do whatever they want. You'll see a cracker, right, in Saudi Arabia right now. You'll see a cracker over in just Costa Rica right now. You'll see some crackers over there in Brazil right now. You'll see some crackers all over South America. Or you'll see Edomites. Where else? Jamaica. They're just all over because they have that right, all right? They have that ability to do that, okay? You devils are all throughout the earth. And guess what? You want to be every nation on earth but Esau Edom, all right? That's why I said the other day on my Twitter account, I don't care if the Edomite calls me the so-called N-word, because I just call him a red Hebrew Edomite. Nothing is worse than being a scum of the earth. And that's what you devils are, the scum of the earth. So don't get offended if these devils call you the N-word. They're Edomites. They're going into slavery. It's the scum of the earth. the basis of men. And if you know geometry, the base is the bottom. All right, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child are the lowest of men. All right, they're at the bottom of when it comes to all nations in that Bible, in this Bible. Salakia. All right, here it says, everything they say is in opposition to the word of power. Like, you devils are just ops towards Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You got Jake out there talking about ops on the block. How about Esau, Edom? They're ops towards our power and his son and the angels, plus the elect and the men. Okay, those are the real ops, you devils. They boast of what they will do, evil as it may be, and they seem to be able to do it without hindrance. Ooh, man. I might have to wrap it up with this verse because we're reaching that 30-minute mark. But I'm going to continue on, Lord's will, with a part 2. All right, let me see. Psalms chapter 73 and verse 10. Final verse. Therefore, his people return hither, and waters of full cup are wrung out to them. They cause men who have been converted from a life of covetousness to return to it. Actually, Psalm chapter 73 and verse 11 is where we'll end it. And they say, how does power know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Okay, you don't acknowledge Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and y'all, you Edomites, you heathens, don't think he exists. All right, but Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to destroy you, your offspring, your seeds, your towns, your nations, and your countries. Okay. Once again, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to destroy you, Edomites, your offspring, your seeds, your towns, your countries, and whatever. All right? So keep having that pride, you damn devils. You're going into slavery, and this is it for you, Esau. All right? The children of Israel have woke up, and you should be afraid, you fucking devils. I'm going to close out this part 1 lesson by saying, Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, Shalom.